He kicks right there. He turns back. I think this might be the snake bit bull of Bob Wisnatz that you saw today in the underdog. And that bull there, I would probably give him a 2.5 also, because he turns back, he kicks, he looks like he's automatic, but I'm not sure you can call that bull a 3, which is an automatic. I feel like this bull is going to become a winner of some sort. Here's a 3.5. Just look at this bull exploding and kicking and trying, extending out his back end. Again, a little bit different than what they watch judging-wise normally, because this bull's got tools. You know, he's trying, he's all over the place. And I think that was actually Arm Yourself. Not positive, but I think that might have been him before. Here's a 4. Watch this bull really kicking and turning back. Again, I think there, as the bulls have matured and got better, I'd probably give that bull a 3, 3.5. But he's got the tools there. It's kind of hard to see. He's a little small, but you see he turns back and kicks and has his legs come out the back end. All right, let's go. Keep going. All right, now it's your turn. Now what Kara did here is she went and got some videos of last year's Buck Day, and she's got the official score from last year. So we're going to show you the bull, and then we're going to let you, give you a second to decide what you think the bull should be. Here he goes. Okay, we'll show it to you one more time. Y'all get in your mind what you think that bull should be. How many people think it should be a 1? Got 1 out there. How many people say 2? Several 2s. How many say 2.5? Got 1, 2, and a couple 2.5s. Anybody say 3? No 3s. I don't even remember what he was, but I'm going to say 2. I wouldn't give the bull a 1 because he's got a lot of action. We'll give him a 2.5 right there last year. So they must have really seen the intensity in the bull, the change of direction. Show it one more time. Can we show that? And really probably a better score for that bull is maybe, I would say 2 to 2.25. I'm not sure he's a 2.5, but that's what he got last year. But y'all kind of getting an idea. Let's show the next one. Like I said, falling down, don't know his feet. You got to take that into consideration. How many people say 2? 3 or 4? How many people say 2.5? Looks like more there say 2.5. How many people say 3? No 3s. What did you get, Kara? 2.75. More than likely to become a 3 than a 2. And I think that's probably just a lot of kick and try. He fell down, but I think if he could have stayed on his feet, he'd kick and turn back. I go more with the 2.5 on that bull also. Let's see another one. How many people say 1? Quite a few 1s. How many people say 2? A few less. Anybody say 2.5? 1 back there. Let's see what he got. I'm going to bet he got a low score. 2.25, more than likely to become a 2 than a 3. I would have gone with a definite 2 on that bull. He's not kicking. His feet are up underneath his belly. He's running pretty fast. All right, here's another one. That good-looking guy opening the chutes. All right, how many people say 1? A lot of 1s. 2? A few 2s. Anybody say 2.5? No 2.5. So what did he get? I bet it's a 1 or 2. Yeah, that's a 1. And watch it again. I mean, just his feet are just never kicking up much or underneath his belly. You could give him a 2, because he didn't just quit, but he has no hope at all. Let's see another one. All right, how many people say 2? No 2s. 2.5. Couple 2.5. 3. A lot more 3s. How about 2.75? I think in that range, 2.75 or 3. Surely that's not his score, 2. We'll practice at our seminar next time. That's, do we have his score? The last one? Well, trust me, he was a 2.75 or a 3. Turned back, he was kicking, he was drifting. I would have probably said 2.75 on him. Let's see another one. Well, there we give it away ahead of time. But you see, y'all should see what that was his bull's first trip, and he acts like, show that again, Kara. You'd have to go 3.5 or 4 on this bull. I mean, he gets in the air, wants to buck, kicks again, turning back, off the front, off the back. That's what you're looking for in a young bull right there. Hopefully we'll see a few of those today. Let's cut it short right there. I think we got the point across with everybody. And I know my guys need to go live there on Bucking Bull TV, and we'll start loading the chutes. Right after their intro, we'll buck some bulls.
Good afternoon, Bucking Bull fans. Jeff Bressler along with Jerry Hargis here on Bucking Bull TV, bringing you the afternoon session of Buck Day and Barbecue from the Janes Gang Ranch in Orchard, Texas. In just a little while, you're going to have the opportunity to see unbucked bulls bucking for the first time. All these bulls, Jerry Hargis, eligible for the 2015 $1 million Bucking Bull Championship.
That's right, Jeff. This is a really exciting event for guys like me that raise these bulls. You know, the first time you ever buck these bulls. You know, you got so much excitement and anticipation inside. You know, you're wondering what these little guys are going to do. And as you're standing on the back of the bucking chute, you're flanking, you know, you see them come out, and they have no clue what to do because they've never done it before. And just to see how they progress through that buck is pretty exciting and fun to watch.
One thing that's going to be exciting to watch for the entire exclusive genetic program is the fact that the 2011 $1 million Bucking Bull champion, the first $1 million Bucking Bull champion ever, OMG, some offspring of OMG in here, some sons of OMG. So that's really going to be very exciting to see.
Yeah, that's right. And, another calf crop of different sires than we've seen in the past. So like you say, it's really neat to see how each one of these sires are going to do today and see how OMG crosses up in these genetics.
Also going to see a number of calves sired by the great Open Futurity bull Bad Mama Jamma that was part of the Janes Gang program. Going to see a lot of the tried and true cows that are in this program, as well as some of the really top sires that year in and year out get the job done in the $1 million Bucking Bull Championship, like Houdini and the Always Steady, Fevers Rising, Last Call, etc. $10,000 is going to go to the winning bull here, $6,000 for second, $4,000 for third. Jerry Hargis, the scoring system here is very unique. Last time we had all professional judges. Now we're splitting it up, 4 professional judges and 4 amateur judges.
That's right, Jeff, and we're going to mark on a 1 to 4 basis instead of marking 1 to 100. You know, each judge will mark 1 to 4 and then average those scores. So it's going to be a little bit different. You're going to be seeing some a little bit different scores, but you know, anytime you're going to see a 2.5 and up, you know, it's going to be a bull that's got a lot of potential. And you know, it's very rare that you're going to see a 4 the very first time you ever buck them, but that is possible. But should see some 3s and up.
Just to set a standard for those of you watching at home, arm yourself on by Selman & Sons out of Midland, Texas, won this event last year, 3.185. We're going to have to get the number of each bull. So
33.69, Call Me Willie.
Call Me Willie will be the first bull up. Call Me Willie. Call Me Willie, Last Call, Sister Willie, owned by Jason and Amy Mogg out of Harrison, Michigan, and you had the opportunity to make the money up on the line, again paying 3 holes, $10,006 and $4,000 by entering the Buck Day incentive. I think out of all the bulls we're going to see today, Jerry, there's only a couple that did not get involved in the money incentive. So last call, of course, the sire to closing time, the winner of the 2012 $1 million Bucking Bull Championship. Winner.
Yet I believe, Jeff, this is Sister Willie, which would make this bull a full brother to Pop the Latch. Last call on Sister Willie, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
And,
it is.
And this bull, like Bob Wisnat did, gets to set the pace today. So let's see if we can have it happen twice, where the first bull out is our champion right here. So judges, don't be tight with the pencil. If this one kicks up over his head and turns back and gets it home, don't be afraid to write that 4 down right off the bat.
Jerry, we were talking about this briefly last night. We're using not a full-size chute. We have a left and right-hand delivery here at the ranch, but there's also what we call the little guy chute. Wow, good start out of the gate here. First bull, Call Me Willie. Jason and Amy Mogg, nice bull.
Really good start there. Anytime I was talking about earlier that you get one to spin right off the bat, it's pretty impressive. These guys have never been bucked before. They really don't have any idea. So all that's happening right now is just instinct as you watch this replay here. And that's a really nice built bull. He's got a lot of muscle tone, big stout front end there. I really like that bull.
So Jerry Hargis, even though these bulls are bucking for the first time, people might be noticing that they have some manners in the chute, and that goes to what you said, if anybody was listening on the morning broadcast, and that these bulls are worked in and out of the chute, in and out of the out gate many, many times without the dummy on their back, just to get them used to the chute gate, the arena, and the out gate.
Yeah, that's right. As you watch that replay, and as you may have noticed, as soon as that dummy comes off, he's got his head up and he's looking for a way to get out the arena. So he's definitely had some school time in this arena and learned kind of the ins and outs before you go put a dummy on and try to buck him.
Guys, the scores are in. Let's see how close me and Jerry can get to the judges that went on that. I mean, that's tough, a bull like that, to set Buck Day and barbecue standards the first day out. I've seen a lot of this. So I'm going to go 3 on that bull. What about you, Jerry?
2.92.
2.92.
Wow, you hit it right on the head, Jerry Hargis. 2.92. Great score. Congratulations, Jason and Amy Mogg. Looks like I have another good one coming up in 2015. Who's next up in the chute?
31-65. Now, this bull's, like we told you earlier, is bucking in memory of Maggie. J.C. Mead lost her good friend this past week in a car wreck. This is the Wyoming Dominator. The Wyoming Dominator right here, 31-65. What's the genetics on that one, guys?
Wyoming Dominator. This is the first OMG we're going to see today out of Dam Fever's Delight, once again owned by J.C.'s Dream Team, J.C. Mead, etc., with the bull being bucked today in memory of J.C.'s good friend, Matty Price. So Wyoming Dominator up next. The Meads had a good time here last year winning the incentive that we had, double down incentive with those 2 bulls, if you remember, Jerry Hargis, Bippity and Boppity. So let's see if they can make some money leaving the 2014 Buck Day and Barbecue.
It's a little calf that looks a lot like OMG. You can tell he really favors his sire there. Nice little calf, kind of goes out across there and has got some action, and then finally gets into a spin and kind of realizes what's going on. You see him leaving the outgate right there. He kind of knows the routine.
Boy, I'm just watching Lana Van Meter up in the stands here like a proud mama watching these OMG calves buck. Wyoming Dominator.
I see Kay taking scores. And on these first 4 or 5 bulls, just so everybody can kind of, because we didn't do as good a job as I'd like on the PowerPoint right here, but I want y'all to watch this bull. She's already got the scores in, so I'm not going to influence anybody, and you usually can't influence them anyway. But I would give this bull 2.5, and here's why. This bull's got a lot of jump and kick, a lot of potential. He kind of falls down out there. I'm not ready to say I think he's more than likely to become a He's going to be a 2.25. I mean, he's going to go down to a 2. So I would go 2.5. We'll see what the judges go with it. My son's over there. He's agreed with me on the first 2. So he judged last year.
2.42 for Wyoming Dominator. And I think, Jerry Hargis, what we saw there, you're not going to have a pull. It's very rare to see a bull where they pull it all together. But I think as a buck and bull trainer, you're looking for certain traits, certain things that the bull is going to do to lead you to believe that he's going to be able to pull it all together in the future. And Wyoming Dominator showed that he had some of those tools to perform well in the future.
Yeah, exactly right. a good buddy of mine that raises bulls, he doesn't like to see one be really, really ranked the very first time because he says there's only one way to go, and that's down. And, that's true to an extent. So, you're just looking for a calf that's got a lot of kick, a lot of action. He's probably not going to do everything 100% and spin right there like he's supposed to, but as long as he's got action, he's trying. That's what we're looking for.
Let's see who we have up next.
34-62, Apache Puck.
Apache Puck coming up next. This is son of Houdini, first Houdini sired bull we're seeing this morning. Sweet as candy, that really good cow of the dam, owned by Peter and Kim Levesque and inspired by bulls. So Apache Puck up next. .92, Call Me Willie, the Moggs Bull, 2.92, the score to beat so far.
Sweet as Candy, the mother to Diamondback, Goober, a ton of great bulls right there. She's a super cow. And going with Houdini here, this ought to be exciting right here.
Right there, nice little calf's got a lot of action right there. It's kind of what we're talking about. They don't necessarily have to spin that first time, but he's got a lot of action. Does it kind of with a little bit of intensity. That's what you're looking for.
He's aggravated too. He's got a lot of fire to him. I like that.
You watch these bulls. My crew has spent countless hours the past 6 weeks, 8 weeks with these bulls, running them through the chutes, calming them down. You've seen 3 young bulls that's never bucked before, and all 3 of them left the arena right there. I always tell people, if you want to know if your trainer's doing his job or not, watch if your bull, one of the key signs is your bull leaving the arena or something. That's the first thing you should teach the bull before you even buck him. Teach him his surroundings, teach him the arena, teach him how to leave. On that bull right there before the score comes in, I'm going to say you could mark him 2.5 or you could mark him 2.75, either one. You sure couldn't go any lower than that, I don't think. You could go and say this bull's got potential to become a 3. He's action-packed. He's kicking. He's trying to change directions. And you could also just say, I'm not ready to say I think he's more than likely to be a 3, and I'm going to go 2.5. But I bet that bull scores between 2.5 and 2 3/4 because I think that's what we're going to see our judges give him. You might even see a judge go 3 on him.
Pretty close there, Billy James. 2.46 for Apache Puck. That puts him in second place. Wyoming Domination moves down to third place now. So that was Apache Puck, waiting for the number on the next bull here.
All right, our first Bad Mama Jamma 3360, Pistol Packing Mama right here. Pistol Packing Mama. I'm excited to see these Bad Mama Jamma calves buck. There's been a few of them bucked out there, and everybody that's had one said they have all been outstanding. So let's see what Pistol Packing Mama does.
Yeah, Bad Mama Jamma, the great cow, Crystal Pistol, a dam owned by Dick and Catherine Dial out of Aztec, New Mexico. So it's going to be exciting to see also these Bad Mama Jammas. Bad Mama Jamma, unfortunately, passed on a couple of years ago right out here at the ranch, but this was always one of Billy James's all-time favorite futurity bulls, open futurity bulls.
What's exciting right now is the first 3 bulls, you can just see that we're even getting better at crossing genetics and knowing which cows are crossed with which bulls. You haven't seen anything be a 2 or a 1 yet, and I hope we don't see any of that today. It just shows that we're doing a better job crossing the genetics, and everybody leaves home with some excitement. Any one of them 3 bulls have potential to pass the other one up. They all got tools. I like that last one just as much as I like the first one. The first one just got in a spin and kicked through it, today and should be winning it. But if I'm Peter and Kim, I like that last bull too.
So, as Billy James mentioned, a really good first 4, and just a real difference in sires here is that we're seeing 2 first-time sires and Bad Mama Jamma and OMG, and seeing our first Houdini of the day here as a sire. So we're going to get a good, this year in the 2015 crop really has a diverse group of sires. A couple of sires, at least one sire probably nobody's ever even heard of that'll be coming up later, and that's a sire Pistol Whip, and a bull that's owned by Skip and Linda Johnston.
And again, Jeff, now that we got away from just certain sires, you know, we decided to try to create something that was exactly the same as something else that's been successful, and that's Change-Up. And Change-Up's dad was Pistol Whip. His mom was Who's Spot, so we created a full brother, and they drafted him. I can't wait to get this bull out of the chute right here.
First Bad Mama Jamma of the day. Showing some life there, Jerry Hargis.
Yeah, you know, it took that calf a little while to kind of figure out what he's wanting to do. He was wanting to jump either way, but right about where that dummy's laying off in the arena, he really tried to come around and fire out there by the time the dummy came off.
You know, we always like to teach people, too, of what you look for. And this, I promise you, this isn't a perfect science. If it was, there'd be one person winning all the time, but there's a lot of different people winning out there. One of the things we don't like to hear a calf do is beller when he bucks like this calf. But you got to remember, this is a baby calf. And I can give you a couple examples. Vortex Madness and Stunting Like My Daddy, they bellered till the last day they bucked, and one's still bucking. And Stunting, we just believe it's his sign of showing he likes what he's doing. You know, this bull here, I'm with Jerry. You know, I would have probably been going 2 1/4 because he's kind of just blowing, stiff-legged, his back feet coming up underneath him. But there at the end, he kind of loosens up and goes to kicking and kind of circles around, and I would have bumped my score up to a 2 1/2 right then and said, I'm going to call this bull a 2 1/2 today. I'm not ready to say he's more than likely to become a 3, but I sure don't think he's more likely to become a 2 either, so I'm just going to stick him right there in the middle with a 2 1/2.
2.21 was the score, 2.21 for Pistol Packin' Mama. See who we're loading up, and once again the first four different sires. Call Me Willie in the lead right now. Last Call, Wyoming Domination, OMG, Apache Puck, Houdini, Pistol Packin' Mama, Bad Mama Jamma.
32-39, Treats from the Doctor.
Treat from the Doctor coming up next. This is a Doctor Who out of the Calmore Treats, owned by Dick and Catherine Dial. Treats from the Doctor.
You know, that Moore Treats, you talked about the Meads having Bippity and Boppity last year and winning the double down. Actually, I don't remember if it's Bippity or Boppity, but he's now Icy Hot. Icy Hot, I think he's going to be, for the years up, the best futurity bull going out there. I think he'll stand up right against the Page Bulls and everybody else. This bull's got lots of talent. He's just been one of those bulls in the back and in the chute that's always on edge. So this bull's got a mother we know produces. Moore Treats, the mother to Icy Hot. Doctor Who, we don't know much about yet. This is his first crop of bulls. Hopefully they're not crap. It's first crop of bulls that he's bucking. Let's see what happens.
Whoa, yeah. Yeah.
Might accidentally have the first 3 1/2, 4 right there, Jeff. That was a really nice calf.
Man.
That's just really rare that a calf jumps out there and is that good the very first time you ever buck him, but that Doctor Who might be a good sire right here.
So Treats from the Doctor, talking about Icy Hot. Many people said, Jerry Hargis, when we saw Icy Hot in the Texas Breeders' Classic, he sort of backed up in the chute when the gate opened. If it wasn't for that, a number of people said he might have won the whole thing for the Meads.
You know, I always tell people, if you don't have luck in the bull business, if you can just figure out what your spending limits are and stay in it long enough, it will turn. Dick Dial's had rotten luck the last 2 years, and he is on a roll this year with Candy Cartel. I think he's going to have 3 or 4 bulls in the top 25, and here he goes today. I'm going to bet that he takes the lead with that bull right there. I'm not going to quite go 4, but I'm going to go 3, 3.5. I'm going to probably go 3.5 on that bull just because he wasn't kicking and extending out. But that bull was getting in the air, coming around, acting like he's been doing it all his life. So I think he's going to beat that first bull out. And this just keeps getting more exciting. Again, we keep getting rid of more of the cows that don't produce, and we're breeding just the cows that do produce, and we're seeing more and more buckers right there. What do we get?
Yeah, nice score for Treats from the Doctor, 3.29. So Dick and Catherine Dial's bull goes to the top of the leaderboard early on here as we buck these 2015 eligibles.
How are we getting scores like 2-9?
Who do we have in the chute now?
What do we got?
Billy James is checking on the number. We'll get it to you. We have a day sheet here, but the bull's not necessarily following in that order. We sort of just line them up
33.
down the alley as we could gather them in the back pens. Something to be expected from bulls this age.
Code 3 right here, 3284. This is the first bull, the Silverado group right here. 3284, code 3.
3284 code 3 by the always steady sire, Little Yellow Jacket. Like Billy James said, that's a sire that he would use over and over again, a proven sire. The cow on this one, Black Beauty. Can you tell us a little about Black Beauty, Billy? I'm not that familiar with this cow.
Well, we don't know much about her because she hasn't had any bull calves, or only one bull calf so far, but she is bred to the hilt. She's a triple bred white sports coat cow, which Jerry can tell you more about that white sports coat. I mean, the father to Houdini and much, much more.
I tell you what, White Sports Coat is one of those bulls that's in a ton of genetics. As you look through the family tree, a lot of these great bucking bulls, you're going to see that Houdini and White Sports Coat throughout. And so hopefully, that's an interesting cross back on the Little Yellow Jacket you'll see right here. Well, little calf kind of want to start out good and look like he might have thought about turning back and then kind of just change his plans right there. But, that's a little disappointing, but at the same time, it's not extremely discouraging if you own that bull right there. He showed some good signs and then kind of just decided to do something else right here. So he'll definitely get another chance.
Hey, Kara, if you could get us some zip ties here, I'll have the guys fix that banner right there before we go on.
Yeah, as we mentioned, Jerry Hargis, throughout the last couple of days in terms of talking about these yearling bulls, at one time there were really no events for yearlings. I think the ABBI has held an event for several years, but Billy James came around with the Lone Star Shootout for yearling bulls a few years back, paying $50,000 to win, and also run the Gold Buckle Challenge, $20,000 to win. ABBI runs an event now for $50,000, a number of other yearling futurities popping up. So if you have a really good one, like Treats from the Doctor that Dick and Catherine dial on, this potential to make a lot of money this year in 2014, even though they're 2015 eligibles.
Yeah, that's definitely right. Last year we saw the Pages win about $100,000 in two events. Won both of those. One paid $55,000, one paid $50,000. So just a ton of money up for grabs at a very young age on these bulls. So the bulls that start strong, you can definitely go enter. And I think there's still time to enter the Lone Star Shootout. And then, of course, down the road will be the Gold Buckle event, too.
Yes, of course, if you have the chance and you get one that gets one of those good scores and you have some faith in that they look like the real deal. Go and talk to Billy, both about the Lone Star Shootout and the Gold Buckle Challenge. Not only does Billy run these two events, they're two of the premier yearling events that take place in the United States each year.
Yeah, and Jeff, if you look at page 15 of your catalog, because I've already seen 2 or 3 bulls today that people should be considering the Lone Star Shootout, and I've seen almost every bull the people should be considering the Gold Buckle Challenge. The difference between the two events on page 15 is the Gold Buckle Challenge is held during our bucking bull games during the National Finals Rodeo, and it's only for EG bulls, so you don't have to compete against the world, and it pays $20,000 to win. And as it says in here, we only sell 50 spots. 33 spots are sold. We have 17 remaining. The total cost is $3,000, but that $3,000 includes 5 nights at the Mandalay Bay and a belt buckle with your bull's name on it. And it's usually, that event's usually the first 3 to 5 days of National Finals Rodeo, and we end the 10 days with the $1 Million Bucking Bull Championship. And then the Lone Star Shootout held in conjunction with our wild card, where we get our last 2 bulls for the National Finals, is November the 22nd at the fabulous Circle T Arena. And you can still buy a spot. We only take 100 bulls. I think we've got about 60 paid up in it. You've missed the first payment, so you have to double the first payment. But as long as you do it before June 6th, if you wait till after June 6th, then you have to double 2 payments. So watch your bull buck today, and if you think he's studly enough to go against the world, you want to get in the Lone Star Shootout. But if he scores over a 2.5 today, or even maybe a 2.5, you should definitely be considering the Gold Buckle Challenge.
So Code 3 scored 1.5, but Jerry, that bull did show some tools to continue giving him a shot to see if he shows improvement.
Yeah, you definitely got to give him another shot. You know, I've seen a lot of bulls that pretty much like that one, just kind of run off the first time and they get better each time. And the third or fourth trip into it, they really kind of figure out the routine and really get going and can turn back and be a pretty good bull.
So waiting on a call of who the next bull will be. And once again, we still haven't seen any of the sires double up. Last call, OMG Houdini, Bad Mama Jamma, Doctor Who, Little Yellow Jacket, in that order. So maybe on the next one here, we'll get to see the same
33,
sire.
33-64, Iceman.
Iceman coming up next, 33-64. Second Houdini we're seeing today. Sister Willie is the cow, owned by Amy and Jason Mogg. And I think that first bull, Call Me Willie, was also a Sister Willie. So half-brothers going head-to-head here, but a lot of Houdini genetics packed in here is Iceman Houdini, Last Call Houdini genetics.
Yeah, their first one was a full brother to pop the latch. This one's a full brother to go in postal. I'd almost bet before we open the gate this bull here is going to buck. I'd almost bet he's going to have good kick. And I'd almost bet on his first trip today he's going to spin. I'm just that convinced that Sister Willie crossed with Houdini wildfire-type genetics, just like Bill and Lana crossed Sister Willie with OMG, it works. And, Bill and Lana's got them 3 bulls in that syndication that if you want to get in on their OMG syndication, you should talk to them. But let's watch this bull right here, Houdini and Sister Willie. I bet he's going to be good.
Well, Billy Collar right there, he turned back just right inside the gate. Didn't have a ton of kick today, but he kind of got his feet tangled up just a little bit in that dirt right there. But turn back, you can't want to turn back any closer right there and not hit their head. First time he's ever been out, pretty nice calf.
Yeah, he looks like he's been bucked a few times, and which he hasn't obviously, but like Billy said, turning right back at the chute there and getting the job done. So it looks like Jason and Amy Mogg and those 2 half-brothers, Call Me Willie and Iceman, have 2 real nice bulls coming together for 2015.
Very nice bull. They got to be proud of owning both of those. One's already in first place, and this one ought to be up there pretty close to the leaderboard.
You know, Jason and Amy, they got 4 going today, and they can just let all the pressure off now because if the next 2 don't do anything, they got 2 really good ones right now, but I'm sure they're going to get a little greedy over here and say, well, we need to get at least 1 for 2 more to go, so we'll be 3 for 4 the rest of the day. I think they may be saying 4 for 4, but yeah, you're right, Jerry. That bull's going to get a good score. He's going to be up in that high 2 to maybe 3 range and be right there with their other bull.
2.58 the score, 2.58. That's good enough currently for 3rd place. As their bull, Call Me Willie, in second, Iceman now in third, and the Dials bull, Treats from the Doctor, in first place, 3.29 points.
You know, the next bull is going to be 3104, Who's Got a Fever?
Who's Got a Fever is going to be coming up next. 3104. First son of Fever's Rising we're seeing so far today. Out of the cow, Who's Hot Cash, another one owned by the Dials, Dick and Catherine Dial. Who's Got a Fever? Dick Dial always goes for those Fever's Rising calves, Billy Janes.
You know, Dick Dial's he's learned from the School of Hard Knocks and putting some bucks in this, but he's learned to get the right cows with the right bulls. And, you know, this year he bought from me 4 of my best cows. Let's watch this one.
He's
Nice
got
whip.
the kick, Jeff.
Yeah, that
he's
he
got
does.
the kick. Just needs to kind of put a few more things together, but he's got some action and kick. You know, with definitely be better than a deadheader. Just kind of go out there slow spinning. Nice little calf right there.
You know, what I was fixing to say is if you're just kind of wanting to get into it and you're a little bit new, Dick wouldn't be a bad guy to talk to because he bought the rights this year to Sweet as Candy, Squarehead, Kahoo, and Legitimately Juicy. And he's currently got me IVF and in vitro fertilization, creating bulls in a dish to bulls like Asteroid, Palm Springs, Last Call. You're going to see Dixon this for the long haul, and he's going to take some of them bulls that he creates and create little syndications in them and stuff like that. And he's just learned the right way to do it. It's taken him a little time, but now you're seeing his bulls do a little bit better by making better decisions.
2.33 the score for Who's Got a Fever, 2.33.
Yeah, I'd have probably had to go 2.5 on that last bull. I could see people saying 2.25, but he just had too much kick, you know, too much kick and extension not to say he's a 2.5. But our next bull is 3270. Who's Your Daddy?
Who's Your Daddy coming up next? This is the second sire Dr. Who bull. Damn, She's a Who, owned by Bruce and Donna Tesh. Who's Your Daddy?
Yeah, this bull was purchased at the Academy of Country Music Awards. We bucked some bulls there and sold them just like we're going to do today. So this bull's got one trip on him. There's 2 bulls out today that got one trip, Lucky 13 and Who's Your Daddy. This bull showed really, really good there at the Academy. Matter of fact, I think this bull won that day, didn't he? Let's watch him today.
I'll tell you what, Doctor Who might be the sire of the future around here. I'll tell you what, that's 2 nice calves in a row out of Doctor Who that are really good. That calf did a lot of things right. You know, it took him kind of a little while to figure out where to get in that spin, but once he did, he's really nice. But, you know, even getting to that spin, he had a lot of action, a lot of kick. You can see him keep trying to turn back, wanting to figure it out. And then once he did, I mean, he turned back, started spinning like he knew what he's doing.
So Doctor Who with a great premiere here today, 3.29 for treats from the doctor, the bull currently in the lead. And I think the second Doctor Who calf, Who's Got a Fever, also going to be, who do we do?
Who's Your Daddy?
Who's Your Daddy, I should say. You're going to be right up there in the scores.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to beat that other bull, but he's going to be up there. You know, he's a 3 for sure. And he's done it twice now. He won this is one some people got mad because the judges let him win it at the Academy of Country Music, and he fell down. And I told everybody, I said, you got to remember we're judging on potential. That bull jumped as high as the moon, kicked over and turned back right there, and then he fell down and lost his feet. I thought the judges got it right out there and letting that bull win it. And he's going to be up there again today. He's going to be in there in the running for them top 5 buckles, that's for sure.
2.88 the score, which puts him, I think, Jerry Hargis in second position. Who's Your Daddy? So 2 Doctor Who's, 3.29, 2.88.
I think maybe third.
292. Call Me Willie's in second right now. Is the leaderboard up on the screen
292,
right
there we go,
but,
yes.
Still third place, going to get him a $4,000 check right at this moment.
$32.54. Can't find him. OMD, all right.
OMD
right
coming
here.
up now. Second OMG, we're seeing one more Saladam, owned by Desert Orchard Ranch out of Scottsdale, Arizona. OMD up next.
Tell you the story behind that name right there. I watched this, or drove up on this calf right after he was born, and it was at dusk.
All the OMG fans, that's a nice little calf right there. Had a little action, little bitty guy, but man, he sure showed his stuff out there. Pretty cool little calf.
You know, he was what I was fixed to say is he is a very late. He was born late May last year, so he's just truly a year old right now, and he was born right at dusk. And so I just when I saw him, I took a picture of him. Still got it on my phone, and I said we're going to call that bull after he's out of OMG. We're going to call him OMD for one more dusk, but I've since learned that OMD is some kind of psychological disorder, and it's also some rock bands is called OMD, but I named him One More Dusk because he was born at dusk, but looked like he's got some good action. He needs to grow up. You know, he had a little bit, you know, being only a yearling, but I like his chances there. He's going to be in that 2.25, 2.5 today. You know, he's all over the place, didn't really put it together, but again, we haven't seen, I think we've seen one bull that got down in that 1 range, and the rest have been well over 2.
2.5. So the two OMG sired bulls so far, 2.42, 2.50.
3271. This is one of my favorite names right here. Dr. Double Who.
Dr. Double Who coming up next. Dr. Double Who, Dr. Who. She's a Who, another Dick and Catherine Dial-owned bull. Dr. Double Who.
I'm tickled to death.
And Dick Dial in the lead at 3.29 with treats from the doctor, also a Dr. Who. Two Dr. Who's, 3.29, 2.88 points for Dr. Who's so far this afternoon. Let me out of here.
Not quite as good as his last two half brothers there, but that calf, you can tell by looking at him, he's still got a long ways to go to fill out to his frame. He's still got a really small front end. So, you're looking at just a baby right here. It's really hard to get them guys to buck and show you just a whole lot when they're that young, and physically they just haven't gained as much as some of these other bulls. Like the very first bull out, you saw had that big stout front end already, and he's got a little small thin neck. So that bull's got a long way to go. Still has the chance to show you what he can do.
$34.26 Hillbilly Jitterbug.
Waiting on the score for Dr. Double Who, Hillbilly Jitterbug up in the chute next. Last call, Dippin' Sal, Brad and Jamie Bays out of Colorado. Score is 2. Score is even 2 for Double Dr. Who as Hillbilly Jitterbug comes up next.
Jeff, we talked about the syndications being created, and there's 2 bulls going today, and this is one of them that everybody's really got their eyes on. We have them 5 full brothers out there behind the log home that are last call and Dippin' Sal, just born in the last couple of months, that are unsold. They're available for the 2016. What I'm going to try to do is sell them to one person or one group of people so they can create a syndication. And you can watch. This will be the first one. There's another one Kathy got a dip. And I'm betting that last call going with Dippin' Sal works, but we'll see here in just a second.
So a backdraft, buck last night and a Bull and Rider, son of Dippin' Sal.
There we go right there. Real similar to backdraft. He looks a lot like him, and once he gets out there, he gets right in a spin. Really similar to that bull backdraft. So I look for this bull right here to be really good down the road.
That was Hillbilly Jitterbug. And that was the second last call of the afternoon. First last call, first bull out, Call Me Willie, 2.92 points.
Yeah, as a trainer, I want y'all to watch something of this bull. He's all over the place. He's stumbling. He's losing his feet. But watch him towards the end. The further he goes, the better he gets once he's figuring out what he's doing. Look at the kick. It starts to get higher instead of lower. A lot of bulls, once they get in that spin, they start flattening out. This bull just don't know what he's doing. Now he finds a spot, kicks and spins, and look at the elevation in his rear end right there. You got to give that bull a 2.5 today, minimum. And like Jerry called it just right. Backdraft was very similar his first out. That bull, Backdraft, went on to win 2 Champions Tours and about $40,000, and it wouldn't surprise me if that bull does the same thing right there.
$2.5 flat, 2.50 for Hillbilly Jitterbug, 2.50.
32.25, Cash and Power.
So 3.225 coming up next is Cash, no. Taking a Cash
Cash
Power.
and Power.
Cash Power coming up next, another son of Fevers Rising. Rooster Cash the Dam, another Dick Dial-owned buck and bull.
Treats from the doctor still hanging in there in that top spot, 3.29.
Second Fevers Rising of the afternoon.
This little Fever's Rising calf just kind of goes out there and doesn't have just a lot of any one tool, but he does have some intensity and kind of action getting across there. So right there he has a little bit of kick, and you know, a calf that down the road he's sure enough going to go uphill, I think.
So that was Cash Plus Power there.
3097 is going to be next, Jeff. Dr. Legit.
Dr. Legit coming up next, another son of Dr. Who, Legitimately Juicy, owned by McCormick, Banks, and Pope. Dr. Legit.
This could be something good, Jeff. As good as these Dr. Who's been so far, and then to go over that good, legitimately juicy cow, you know, I mean, we all know how good she is. This could be something special.
Dr. Who, 3.29, 2.88, and 2 on the 3 Dr. Who sired. 2.21 the score for Cash Plus Power, 2.21 for that son of Fever's Rising.
You know what's interesting about Legitimately Juicy, though? There's two things you can almost count on. This calf's going to beller when he bucks. It's amazing how her calves, that genetic goes, you wouldn't think a genetic like that, bellering while you buck, could get passed down. But I bet he bellers while he bucks, and I bet he either falls down or stumbles or something like that. The Legitimately Juicies, I've learned if he scores a 1 today, it's not going to matter to me. I'm going to keep bucking him because they get better the further they go. Stunting Like My Daddy, Lava Lance, all them bulls that we've had out of her just have got better and better as they go, and they never seem to start and just be a stud right off the bat.
Reminds me a lot of his older half-brother there, Lava Lance, you know.
Absolutely.
And you'll notice this bull, he's made a little bit different. Some of the other ones, he's kind of looser made. He's got a little more skin around him. And that just means he's got a lot of room to grow into his body, a lot of frame. And a lot of times those bulls are kind of a little more awkward, kind of like a young kid that hadn't quite grown into his feet yet, you know. So that bull, in my opinion, has nowhere to go but up.
And Jerry, you're exactly right, and that's just kind of what I expected out of him. He took a little long to beller like I expected. I expected that a little bit earlier, but just kind of all over the place. You know, they're uncoordinated. They want to buck. You can see the fire and the intensity. They just don't know what they're doing. You know, slinging their head at the dummy, but he turns back, and that bull's going to be fine. Before it's all said and done, he'll be a player. He's not going to get in the top 5 today, but I'm happy if I'm going home with that one.
2.33 for Dr. Legit.
30-15, Slato.
Slato coming up next. Another OMG sired bull. Good genetics on the dam side, and Mrs. Buck, owned by David and Laurel Hale. So Slato, another son of OMG, up next. 2 OMGs so far, 2.42, 2.50 points.
You know, David Hale asked me to pick him one out, and if those of y'all that were at the National Finals Rodeo this year and we had our $1 million bull and rider tournament, we took a set of calves and we turned them out in the arena. And there was one OMG calf that would come out of the herd, go up to the stands, and just look at people and say, hey, man, I'm the man right here. Nobody bought him out there, and I've watched this calf grow up. He's one of my favorite little OMG calves. Mrs. Bucks is a full sister to More Bucks. I'm certain this bull is going to buck. I'd almost bet he's going to kick straight up and down, have that More Bucks kick and extension, and have the OMG spin. Never seen him buck, but I'm looking for big things here out of Slato. David Hill asked me to pick him one. I hope I was right.
So we're getting ready on Slato.
There we go, right there. You know, he got his feet tangled up just a tad, but, I mean, he pretty much knew what he's doing and getting after it right there into that spin.
Boy, that calf's grown up a lot since NFR. Slato.
That's funny. You know, we truck those bulls in and out every day. These little OMG babies, keeping them out there at the Horsens Park. And, they were just really babies back then, and he sure put on some weight and come around, and he's going to be a little bucker. We had those OMG calves in the pen. You know, they were just kind of afraid little things, just kind of hiding back in the background. OMG come out and get petted, but that bull's come a long way in a few short months.
You know, one thing, if you want a cheering section, buy you an OMG calf, because I heard Lana there, and she don't even care that she doesn't own it. She just cares that it's an OMG, son. She was over there, go Slato. You know, she's going to be, if it's an OMG calf, she's going to be rooting for it. You can bet on that.
And I'd have to say, if you like taking pictures of what you would call cute calves, all those OMG calves, man, they're just all cute little calves.
Yeah, they're pretty neat little guys.
2.71 points, 2.71 for Slato, and that's so far the top performing OMG of the day.
You know, we're taking just a short little break here. The dummy's been hanging up on me when I've been pushing it. It's been making me push it about 3 times, and I checked it back here, and it sounds really weak. So these littler dummies, unfortunately, nobody's come out with a double latch for them because they're so small and they can't get all the equipment in there. So we're a little bit more careful when one starts hanging like that to go ahead and change. We're going to put that one back on the charger there and change out. But we're prepared back here. The guys are, here they come. They're ready already with another dummy. Our next
Actually,
bull,
Billy, we're talking about Lance Blow and his innovation. He just now came out with a small dummy that has a dual latch, so it's just now available on the market. So I'm sure those will be selling like hotcakes. But got to give it to Lance for doing a great job and coming out with bigger and better dummies every day.
just in time to cost me another $4,000 or $5,000.
Joel, if we could throw up the leaderboard again as we just get reset here on the dummies and let the folks at home see treats from the doctor. Dick and Catherine Dial in the lead, 3.29 points. Call Me Willie in second, 2.92. Who's Your Daddy, 2.88. Slato, 2.71. Iceman, 2.58. And once again, we are looking for my payouts here. $10,000 to win if you're in the incentive, and the majority of bulls here are. $6,000 for second, paid out three ways, $4,000 for third place.
Dennis, can you give me a bull number there?
Who got you here? 3384.
Who got you coming up next? As Jerry and myself look at our sheet. Oh. Who got you, son of Houdini, sister Willie, Bob Wisnat, and the Izzards, Joanne and Stanley owning that bull. Who got you?
Yeah, another one of them Sister Willie calves. I hate to keep saying it, but, I think Bill and Lana might be on to something there. They got Sister Willie crossed with OMG. That's a full brother right there to that Going Postal. And I always say, when a bull falls down, when he gets up, don't take anything away from him if he doesn't buck, because it's really not fair to him. But if he gets up and still bucks, give him an extra half a point or so. That bull fell down and got right back up and just kept kicking and spinning like he was doing before. I like that calf a lot. You can bet he's going to be a spinner.
Yeah, that bull's almost a spitting image to Going Postal right there. It looks a lot like him, and looks like he's going to buck like him too.
So waiting on the score here for the third son of Houdini today. Who got you?
33-27, Lights and Sirens.
2.71, the score for Who Got You. Coming up next, Lights and Sirens. And Lights and Sirens, another sunny little yellow jacket here. Cow, 244, Black Beauty, second bull owned by that Silverado group, Lights and Sirens.
Yeah, the first one was pretty disappointing. I'm hoping the Full Brothers does a little bit better than his other brother. For Code 3, he wasn't too good. Lights and Siren needs to be a lot better. How about these judges? 4 participant judges going with 4 professional judges, and you could argue right now they got it exactly perfect with those bulls right there. I haven't seen anything out of line. So love to have our participants and our owners involved in this. Hope to have more of y'all in the future want to do it.
First little yellow jacket, 1.5 in that Code 3. Proven sire here. Should see better performance out of this bull. He's going to get it done down the road, Jerry Hargis.
Yeah, I tell you what, you always you hold your breath for a second, make sure he's not hurt, and definitely he's not. And those calves that kick so hard they flip over, I always like those calves. You need to give them a little break after that because usually next time you come back they're not going to bug as good. But right there, I tell you, that just shows he has a ton of heart, a ton of try, and a ton of athletic ability right there to kick so hard. He does
straight up to throw himself
front
over.
somersault there.
Yeah, I talked about sometimes when they fall, I let them get up. But when they fall like that, I'm clicking that dummy off as fast as I can. That's why you notice as soon as he comes down right here, the dummy's off right now. And I didn't want him to have to mess with that anymore. I mean, as far as if you take one jump of a bull, that is the rankest bull we've bucked today. If that bull puts that together, learns how to slow down, it's kind of amazing because his brother might have been the sorriest bull we bucked today. And that one might be the best bull. He's not going to get the best score because he went straight and he fell down. But I'm going to tell you, if I'm marking that bull, I still mark him a 2.75. I mean, there's an example of a bull that you say, hey, he's more than likely to become a 3 than a 2 with tools like that right there. What'd the judges say?
2.63, and I'd say that's a great score, Jerry, for a bull that just about flipped over. I'd go to Alan Glanville, get a picture of that bull, especially if he captured that 90-degree angle there.
Be a good one to put on the wall.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, we're exactly halfway through. We're going to keep rolling, but we're going to let Kara bring up the Buck and Bull Games 2 fantasy games so everybody can kind of see where they stand, write it down on their program. You've probably already been putting that in there. And then we're going to start. You should have a score on every single bull in the left column of page 5 right now because all 17 bulls have gone, and 17 pretty good ones if I might say so myself. So do we have those scores, Kara? Can we show those? Here we go. All right, there they are in order, and then there's their partner like Treats from Doctor. Whoever bought that one needs Kabubi to do really good, and they're going to be hard to beat if that happens. Call Me Willie needs Kathy Got a Dip to do real good. But I would say any of those bulls from about 2.5 or 6 up, got a really good chance to come out. It's going to be hard if you have a 2.4 down because I doubt all of those 7 or 8 bulls above you aren't going to have another bull that partners up with them and goes. So hopefully at least half of y'all still got a chance. Let's buck our next bull. All right at the top of your list on the right side, 33.89, Second Wind.
Second Wind coming up next, another son of Last Call. Pretty as Who, owned by Steve and Brenda Behringer. Second Wind coming up next. Last Call so far, 2.92, 2.50 terms of scores.
Yeah, Last Call's been doing good so far today. We know he can be a good sire. He was the sire to closing time, the champion of the 500,000 1 year ago.
Back over to you. You're up. Ed, you're free. Yeah, just looking at the averages here, Jerry, and when you look back at to the EG program from its initial start, I mean, we're averaging out right now at probably over 2.5 per bull, and that's pretty impressive in terms of when Billy Janes went over the scoring system and what it takes to move on.
Calf had some action, had some kick getting out across there. Didn't necessarily spin, but he always showed some tools right there. He has a little bit of kick, and I like that kind of intensity he's getting across there. This bull was really similar to some of those other Last Call calves as far as how he's kind of made and how he looks a little bit. So, and we've seen that some of those go on to be really good.
Just to update y'all kind of on the judging and how y'all should be getting the hang of it. I bet most of y'all are getting pretty close on these bulls. That bull right there, I'd give a 2.25. He's a little better than a 2, but I think he's more than likely to become a 2 than to become a 3, and I'm sure not going to give him a 2.5 yet. He just doesn't have enough. Look at his back end. It never really gets straight up and down very much. So he doesn't have what we call very much kick, and he's not extending out of the back. He does have some action, a little bit of change of direction, stays close to the chute, but he's kind of an overweight calf too, a little bit bigger calf, and those kind of calves usually continue, not always, but usually continue to slow down as they go and not do as good. So I'd go 2 1/4 on that one.
Close by, 2.21, 2.21 for Second Wind. Third last call of the afternoon to Buck, waiting on our next bull.
34-42, Wet Willie.
Wet Willie going to be coming up next. Wet Willie, son of Houdini, Sister Willie. Jason and Amy Mogg owning this one. Wet Willie coming up next.
So another one of them full brothers to go in postal. The first two hadn't let us down.
2.46, 2.58, 2.71, 3 scores for Houdini so far this afternoon. Keep you posted on the sire scores.
Never quite found a spot, a little bit like that last one. He has just maybe a tad more kick, but just kind of got out across there, has a lot of room for improvement.
That bull's not going to get the score of the other ones today, but there's nothing wrong with that bull. I like that bull better than the last bull. He gets off at his front end. He's kicking in his back end. He's going straight, but he's got what, we would want to continue to buck. And I'm sure not ready to put him down in the 2 category or even say that he's more than likely to become a 2. So I'd probably go, I might be a little kind here, but I'd still probably go 2 1/2 on that calf today. And the 2 1/2s aren't going to win any money. I always say, we need as a judge try to get it as right as we can. But sometimes I think people get too hung up in the low scores, the scores that really don't even matter. I've heard of him even suspending a judge one time because he was 4 points off on a bull that didn't even place, and I don't get that, the bull wasn't going to win anything anyway. But that bull, the bottom line is if you own that bull, he needs to be bucked some more, and he takes that jump and kick and puts some spin with it, which I bet he does being from Sister Willie, and he's going to be a good bull.
2.17 the score there, 2.17 for Wet Willie.
$34.48. Another one of those being bucked in memory of Maggie. Call Me Trigger.
Call Me Trigger up next. Last call, Crystal Pistol, JC's Dream Team. Bull bucking for JC Mead in memory of the classmate that she lost in a car accident last week, Maddie Price. So this one's dedicated to the memory of Maddie Price. Call Me Trigger. Another son of Last Call.
It's a nice little calf there. I mean, he's making noises. It's kind of squalling across there the whole time, but really had some buck and come around, finally got himself into spin, and I think that's going to be a really nice calf.
If you don't know JC right here, this is JC. She's got autism. It's become our passion at EG to help raise money for that because it's something that we've seen bucking bulls make a difference in. This young lady right here she brought a picture of her little baby bull that just got born here recently. If you want to see it, you ask her. She's as proud as you'd be as having a son or something. She showed me that calf, and you could just see it glowing on her face. What's his name? Snow. White Flurry. She corrected me. White Flurry's her new baby bull's name. But, hey, I like that bull right there. Lots of kick. You could tell he wanted to spin. I kept wanting to wait and let him get in that spin. Finally had to release a dummy, and he went on. But I don't know that I've heard a bull make those kind of noises when he bucked right there. I don't know if he's grunting or bellering or what he was doing.
2.67, 2.67. So solid score there. And Billy James, the last calls that have been bucking so far, proven to really all of them turning in solid performances.
35-40. Don't be scared, chicks.
Don't Be Scared Chicks coming up next. Son of Houdini Squarehead, owned by Selman & Sons Buck and Bulls out of Midland, Texas. Don't Be Scared Chicks coming up next. Son of Houdini.
This would be a full brother of that Chachaco we saw earlier, the bull that kicking at the flank and stuff. And this one looks a little small like him. Let's see how he does.
Nice.
There you go. Nice little calf right there.
He didn't use any extra energy. The second that dummy dropped, he's done for the
He's
day.
done.
Yeah, just in a little while, if we could get a couple of guys to work that arena, the side of the arena to close it up a little. We're having some problems with the in-house camera we're using. It's ended up getting a bad reflection on these bulls.
We'll see a lot of these Houdini last call type bred calves. They're all white. A lot have that one had a few spots, but the white with black ears and black nose that comes from Houdini. He was colored like that, and then his daddy was also colored like that. The white sports coat we talked about. So talk about those traits of genetics passing on down the line. You know, that's something that 4 and 5 generations we're seeing here all kind of hit that real similar color pattern.
Man, let's show that one more time, Joel. Look, that first kick's pretty, man, right there. Impressive. 2.79, 2.79.
Getting accused
Just
over here
barely
being
out
too
of the
tight
money
to put
places
oil
there,
on.
the top 3.
3402 skinny dipping.
3402 skinny dipping coming up next, and
This will be the third of the 4 Jason and Amy Mogg bulls.
skinny
Oh,
dipping.
this is the fourth? I missed one.
Last
Oh,
call here, Dippin' Sal. As Billy mentioned, Jason and Amy Mogg, skinny dipping up next.
He corrected me. This is actually the fourth.
Okay, Ed, this time let's see if we can get on.
Got it on at the end there, Jerry
Little calf
Hargis.
definitely has a lot of tries. You'll notice his front first couple jumps, he went all the way to his front knees, and in the back end, he's still bucking. You know, he's got his nose down the dirt, and he knows to just keep bucking. That calf's definitely got some try right there.
I believe that's the last call dipping Sal there. There's 3 of them today, and we talked about them 5 full brothers we have out there, and the first 2 have been pretty doggone good. That bull right there is going to buck. Like Jerry says, look how intense this little calf is. He's all over the place. That's why I knew he's fixed to come around and get it on. That's why I left the dummy on him, and he just got better the further he went. You got a calf right there. Last call and dipping Sal's a matchup.
So, Billy James, that pen of bulls we got out here at the ranch, those last call dipping Sal's, man, their value just keeps on increasing, those little calves.
Yeah, and like I said, I think there'll be somebody, already got somebody actually just told me they're thinking seriously about buying them. But I told them or other people that's asked me is I want one group to get all 5 of them because there may be 1 or 2 in there that end up not being good. But you buy 5 of those full brothers, you're going to get some good ones out of it. 33-39, perfect storm.
2.46 was the score, 2.46 for skinny dipping.
I'm not real sure how anybody could mark that bull under 2.5 right there, but obviously some people did. I mean, that bull was intense. He was out there. He's turned back at the end. I mean, that was a good little bull right there. You'll see that bull long term coming around.
3389. We're just looking for perfect storm. Second son of Bad Mama Jamma we're seeing. Skip and Linda Johnston here. Perfect storm. Bad Mama Jamma son.
That's pretty impressive, real calf. He's going to be a big old stout calf. Already got a lot of muscle tone, a lot of size, real framey calf right there. Really tries to get in there, you know, showing that bad mamma jamma traits right there. That bull's going to buck down the road. He just didn't quite get a spot figured out. You know, I thought at any second here he's going to turn back, and but I guarantee you down the road he will.
You know, and he's got, Jerry, what the judges look for when he puts it together. He's got what we call that wow factor, and that's what Bad Mama Jamma had. He'd get off that front end like this bull does and kick. It just, again, you continue to see these genetics passed down. I mean, watch this calf right here. Get up off the front. Ain't sure how to kick up in the back at first, but at the end, he starts getting up in the front and kicking in the back. I mean, that bull right there has got just a ton of upside. From a trainer perspective, I'm tickled to death to have that bull in my program.
So waiting on a score for Perfect Storm. .712.71 for the second Bad Mama Jamma. So Bad Mama Jamma, 2.71, 2.21.
34.82, OMG GT.
OMG GT. OMG, again, keep on talking all afternoon here about Dippin' Sal. Bill Day, Solana Van Meter out of Mariposa, California. OMG GT up next. OMG so far 2.42, 2.50, 2.71. So all the OMGs have performed well.
I'm trying to get Lana to save those. She's selling partnerships in them 3 cows. I want her to sell them all to California people, but.
Whoa here.
Nice little calf.
Nice
I tell you
calf.
what, these OMGs are proving to be really nice bred bulls.
You know, I left this dummy on just a hair longer on purpose because watch when he turns back, he just kind of loses his footing. And I really thought that bull had more to him. And you could see there, he starts to kick it. Then he's just all over the place trying so hard, kind of fighting his, slinging his head a little bit. But that bull right there, you talk about a bull that's going to be good. Once he come around, he looked like he meant it. Once he slows down a little bit and does that closer to the chute, I think Bill Dace and Lana Van Meter are in for another fun ride right there with OMG GT.
Waiting on that score. Once again, the high score for the $10,000. Treats from the doctor, 3.29, still holding the standard. 2.88, so really nice score there for OMG GT. And tied for third now is OMG GT, so money bull there so far this afternoon.
I think this is our last call, Dippin' Sal. There's 3 of them, 2 of them's gone. This is 32.57, Kathy got a dip.
So coming up next, Kathy's got a dip. Last call, Dippin' Sal, as Billy just mentioned. Mike and Kathy Simpson, the owners of Kathy's Got a Dip. Top last call so far, 2.92 points.
Well, I think if that calf hadn't stumbled right there, he could have been the best calf out today so far. He comes around really fast, kicks straight over his head, coming in that spin. Just really nice calf right there. Watch that jump right there. I mean, kicking straight over his head. Really nice calf. He'll definitely be one to watch down the road.
Well, you know, Billy Janes, early on in the exclusive genetic program, obviously we were going after sires that had name recognition for the PBR, but this ain't your old exclusive genetics anymore. This has really been an impressive crop of yearling bulls we've seen so far this afternoon.
Yeah, I'm extremely impressed right there. I know that bull went down a little bit, but I'm gonna the scores in. I'm gonna have to say that bull might take the lead. He's gonna be right there with it. I'd probably give him a 3.5. If he doesn't stumble, he gets a 4. I mean, like Jerry said, that bull meant it. I mean, he acted like he knew what he was doing. He was intense. He was electric. He kicked. He turned back. I don't know what else you could ask the calf to do except for not stumble right there. I mean, and then he bucked even through the stumble. So he's going to give Treats from a Doctor a run for the money right there. Let's see how the score comes in.
Well, equal score to Call Me Willie, 2.92, so the bull moves into a tie for second place behind Treats from the Doctor.
Was he was talking about at the first of the show, Jeff? He gave us the scores from previous years, and I think already we're not even through, but we already completely beat those scores, as far as overall.
30-98 Cash Fever.
30.98 coming up next. That is the bull Cash Fever. Fever's rising. Trashy Water, the dam owned by Cantankerous Bucking Bulls.
That's a big boy right there.
Son of the proven sire, Fever's rising.
You know what we're learning a little bit late about Fever's rising calves is they have a tendency to get a little too big too fast. And we're probably, even though he's one of my favorite bulls of all time, we're probably going to take him out of the breeding program because we raise futurity bulls. His bulls get big and strong. If you were trying to raise cowboy bulls and you could turn them out, not mess with them with his futurity bulls, a bull like this right here, you buck him one time, you see he's got the try, now you just turn that bull out for a couple of years, and you might have you a rank PBR, PRCA bull down the road. But we're going to work with him the next year and try to make him a $500,000 winner with the tools he's got.
Have the score momentarily for Cash Fever. 2.50 for Cash Fever.
3406, Lucky 13.
Lucky 13 coming up next. Avalanche, Sharp Dressed Woman, Bruce and Donna Tesh, and 2J Buck and Bull Genetics. Lucky 13 in the box. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the first son of Avalanche we're seeing this afternoon.
Yeah, I think you're right, Jeff. We haven't seen one so far. My calf's got a lot of trying heart right there. He got jammed up coming out of the chute right there and really kind of messed him up. But once he gets out there a couple jumps, he really starts blowing there, kicking and trying to spin right there towards the end.
A little bit of that yearling wow factor right there.
Yeah, I wanted to see a little bit more out of this calf, but he got up against that fence, and I almost felt like I had to release the dummy because I just saw a wreck fixing to happen over there in that fence, him getting a leg hung in there and everything. So when that dummy comes off, we have it rigged to pull the flank off. You'll see right here I click it off, and I was just worried he was going to get in a bind. I'd like to see what he was going to do if he's going to kick through the spin and stuff, but bull's got a lot of intensity, a lot of tries. Definitely a bull that we can work with.
Scores coming in on Lucky 13.
While they're coming in, next bull's 30-91, Jamma Rain.
2.71 the score. And the next bull coming up. Jamma Rain, Bad Mama Jamma, one more Sal. Second bull of the afternoon owned by Cantankerous Buck and Bulls. Jamma Rain.
Give us a recap there, Jeff, on how the Bad Mama Jammas have scored so far.
Bad Mama Jammas so far, 2.71, 2.21. First crop of Bad Mama Jammas.
This little calf's got some action. It doesn't do just a ton of things right, but a small little well-built calf, you know, kind of goes out across there, and just calf maybe needs to grow up and get some more outs on him.
You know, Cantankerous Bucking Bulls just recently became PBR stock contractors. They did a buyout on one, and they're partnered. She's going to have to remind me who they're partnered with, but I know Cantankerous Bucking Bulls, Sherry Turner and Kathy Jennings are now lady PBR stock contractors there, and continually putting more in the business and getting their name out there. And tomorrow, for those of y'all that don't know, even though today officially ends Buck Day and Barbecue, if you're still in town tomorrow, we're bucking some bulls for some people that didn't enter their bull today and that are going to be around. It's going to be very casual, very laid back. My dad's going to barbecue a few hamburgers, and we're going to buck some of those bulls that didn't buck this weekend. And it just reminded me because we're going to try to buck. She's got a bull this year bucking in the $1 Million Bucking Bull Championship that wasn't entered. But anyway, it's 1 o'clock tomorrow. If you're not doing anything, please let us know if you're coming so we can make sure we have the right amount of food.
2.21 the score for Jamarain, 2.21. $33.92 Whiskey Tango. 33.92 Whiskey Tango coming up next. Another son of Bad Mama Jamma out of the respected Cal Crystal Pistol, owned by Gaffney Truax, Nordaloff, and Gaffney. If I recall correctly, this calf was purchased at either PBR or NFR a couple of years ago.
I believe it was a PBR. They're here with us this weekend.
Yeah, Midwest ownership here on Whiskey Tango coming up next. Another Bad Mama Jamma.
There's a good Bad Mama Jamma calf.
There you go.
That's a nice bull right there. Watch this replay. He gets right in that spin, kind of gets some air a little bit. Then, like a lot of these young calves, kind of gets the back feet tangled up, but I think he's still going to score well.
Top Bad Mama Jamma of the day, 2.71. 2.71, so we'll see if for pride here, Whiskey Tango goes to the top of the Bad Mama Jamma sired bulls.
He's going to be pretty close to that other top Bad Mama Jamma score. He's I'd probably have to go in that 2.75 range for him. Really kicked good when he come around. Kind of lost a little bit of the kick, but look at that right there, boy, when he first comes around.
2.67, 2.67. Nice score there for another son of Bad Mama Jamma and Whiskey Tango.
33-34 Fig Jam.
33-34, another son of Bad Mama Jamma, Fig Jam coming up next. JPM1, whose spot? The dam, two pair bucking bulls out of Canada.
Well, that calf definitely kept getting better and better as the rider went on. Kind of takes him a little bit, gets in that spin, then just, well, once he starts that spin, he just keeps getting better with every jump across there.
So two pair bucking bulls with a nice son of Bad Mama Jamma there. Of course, Gary and Lori Forche, the owners of Bad Mama Jamma, the late Bad Mama Jamma, unfortunately.
You know, it's really encouraging. Usually every year at this thing, about 1 in every 5 I can really brag on, but it's like 4 out of 5 this year. That bull right there, man, once he figures it out, I mean, if he don't go all over the place and kind of just because he's new at doing what he's doing, he could be a 3.5 or a 4. He's not going to be that today, but like Jerry said, once he quit fighting everything, that bull was bucking at the end. He was fixing to really get it on when I released the dummy. You're talking about a bull that's, he should be even today in that 2.753 range, but we'll see what the judges say.
263, 2.63 the score. And that was Fig Jam.
30-54 Zombie.
Zombie coming up next. Sire is Pistol Whip, we were discussing a little earlier. JPM1 Who's Spot, Skip and Linda Johnston out of Alaska, the owners of Zombie.
I think that calf was just fixing really starting getting into it. He finally found him a spot and really come around, had a good corner, just couldn't keep his front feet, and clicked the dummy off because didn't want the bull to get hurt, but I think he's really fixing to start it right there.
So the only son of Pistol Whip bucking today, Zombie.
Now show that 50 more time there, Joel, on that last bull. Can we get it from the beginning, or is that all we have there at the end?
That's kind of what we got there, but you
Yeah.
can see what he was starting to do right there, starting to really try to want to spin.
One of the things I was going to show y'all is one of the things we'll watch for, or I watch for in a young bull, is that bull was bucking a lot in his right lead. He had his right leg out in front of him, and there at the end, he even come around to the right. That's a bull that we'll take and we'll move him over to the right-hand delivery. See, these bulls today, they're coming out and turning to the left, which forces them to be in their left lead at the beginning. That bull over there, if we start him out to the right, where he starts out in his right lead a little bit more, he might be a little bit more comfortable. It doesn't always work, but it's just something you watch for. You can kind of see it right here at the end where he falls. Watch his right leg. Show that. See, look at his right foot go out in front of him right there, and he was doing that throughout. And he'll be a bull we'll try some different things with.
2.5, 2.5 the score.
34-19, Jackhammer.
Jackhammer coming up next. Last call, Extra Delight, owned by Dennis and Christine Peeperhouse. Jackhammer up next, another son of Last Call. Last Call's all been doing well here this afternoon, averaging probably right over a little bit over 2.5 per out. Maybe just a tad more than that, I'd say. Probably closer to 2 and 3, 2.60.
And right now, Last Calls are both tied for second, so two in there, right there in the money. And Dr. Who's son in first place.
Yeah, the cow here is even more important. Extra Delight, the mother to Vortex Madness, the Colonel, and Bubba.
I think that calf really wanted to spin to the left right there out of the gate, just kind of got himself jammed up in that other chute, and when he did, just kind of forced him to go around and really couldn't get anything going after that. But I think that calf's going to want to turn back right there in the gate.
Michelle Simpson's just telling me with the awards committee that as soon as the last bull bucks, she's going to give everybody 5 minutes on the silent auction over there to make one more last bid, and then she's going to pull the sheets and give out the awards. So here when we buck the last bull, we'll move to our ice cream break, and you can bid a little bit more, and then we'll give those prizes away.
Waiting on the score here. And starting to wind things down now, Jerry Hargis. Zombie went.
34-76, Kabubi.
Kabubi coming up next. EG brand 3476. Son of Houdini. Many Coats owned by Selman and Sons. Kabubi, once again, Tom Selman and Sons. Selman and Sons out of Midland, Texas, winning this event last year with the great bull Arm Yourself.
2.29 on Jackhammer.
2.29 the score on Jackhammer. So another Houdini son in the mix here. Houdini's also averaging a little above that 2.5 mark per out this afternoon. And Dick and Catherine Dial still sitting pretty with a 3.29 from Treats from the Doctor. Their real nice young son of Doctor Who, booked earlier this afternoon.
3476 Kabubi.
Some nice
think-
breeding here, Jerry, with that mini coats. The dam obviously got that white sports coat blood in her with Houdini. So regally bred Kabubi in terms of the bloodlines here. Whoop.
Unfortunately, Dummy hung on there. You know, that calf was kind of wanting to quit anyways, and so it's really unfortunate to, maybe not to quit, just kind of weaken there towards the end. So, unfortunately, that Dummy hung on him, but calf kind of went out there, started trying to buck, then he kind of slowed his pace right there.
Yeah, and like you said, Jerry, he just about gassed himself out at the end anyway, so he was able to pretty much walk off with the dummy on his back to be removed. But when Billy James was talking about a dummy hanging up, that's what you just saw there.
You know, you hate to ever see that, and normally it happens on the good ones. If I had to pick 5, I wouldn't pick a bull for it to happen to any of them. But if I had to pick 5 bulls today for it to happen to, that would have been one of them. He just didn't have much effort about it. Wasn't bucking very hard. I hate it that it happened to anybody, but I'm glad it wasn't on one of the 3.5 a minute ago that it hang up and ruin 'em.
1.67 the score there, 1.67. And we have a leaderboard coming up here. Looking at the bottom end of the leaderboard there, we'll flip it up to the top side of the leaderboard in just a moment. And moving up the line there we go. Treats from the Doctor, Dick and Catherine Dial, 3.29. Kathy's Got a Dip, 2.92, tied with Call Me Willie. Then Who's Your Daddy? OMG GT. Don't Be Scared Chicks. Slato, Who's Got You? You can see the scores up on the board there.
You know, what I just realized, Jeff, that Kathy's Got a Dip is not in the incentive there. So,
Yeah,
you know,
no incentive.
So the Who's Your Daddy is going to still stay in that third place spot.
$10,000 to win here. Going to check on that dummy here, and we'll get our next bull ready to buck. At the conclusion of watching the 2015 Bulls Buck, we're going to take a break here on Buck and Bull TV as the folks here at Buck Day and Barbecue also take a break. We'll be back right around 3:25 Central Time, just about an hour from now, when we'll be able to sit in on a sale of yearling bulls that are going to buck. If you're watching at home and anybody has any interest in seeing the bulls that are for sale, go to exclusivegenetics.com, hit one of the Buck Day and Barbecue icons, and you can download the same program that the folks here in Orchard are looking at today. Fantasy scoring. Call Me Willie. Kathy's Got a Dip. High score, 5.84. Who's Your Daddy? Who's Gotcha? Slato. And I'm just trying to look here, Jerry Hargis, how many more bulls we actually have left to buck. Yeah, it appears we might be down to the
One.
final bull, correct.
And then we'll have our 20 after the break that we're going to sell.
You know, Jeff, we think about this format here. It's really amazing. This is the first time you ever even buck your calf, and you can win $10,000. You know, that's pretty amazing. Most guys, you know, they buck their calf for the first time just out there at the ranch with them, a couple of hired hands or some buddies around there just bucking them. But it's pretty amazing to compete for that kind of money for the first time ever being bucked.
Yeah, I think what we've seen so far here today from this crop of 2015 calves is we're seeing a lot of consistency. We're seeing a lot of calves really on that same plane, that really nice 2.5 plus, where it looks like they got the kind of talent to go on in the future and do well. And I'm impressed with what I see, and we discussed it earlier too, Jerry. I'm also impressed with the amount of work that the staff for the Janes Gang has put into these bulls. I mean, everyone, you don't realize it when you sit here, but when you go to a lot of open futurities, I mean, you see some bulls that literally look like they just pulled out a pasture, bucked, and then just go berserk before they hit the out gate.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's nice that at most events, you have to have a horse out here dragging these bulls out. We hadn't had one problem with a bull not coming out of the arena. They really, which is home turf, but these are young bulls. They already kind of know the routine.
3,400.
They don't need a horse. All they got to do is hear Donald yell, and they know it's time to leave the arena. Last bull of the day, we suspect, is 3,400, which is Flow Line. Fever's Rising, another son of Dip and Sal, owned by Selman and Sons. Let's see if Tom Selman can come up with a good one here to make amends for his last bull that just bucked, the one that got hung up with the dummy, also owned by Selman and Sons Bucking Bull. So Flow Line, last bull to buck. Once again, if you're watching on Bucking Bull TV, go to exclusivegenetics.com and download the Buck Day and Barbecue catalog and take a look at some of the bulls that we're going to be selling just 1 hour from now when we come back at 3:25 Central Time with our sale.
This is 3,400 Flow Line. We've seen the Dip and Sal calves today be outstanding with Last Call. Now we're going to see Dip and Sal cross with Fever's Rise. And this is another one of them deals where the customer, Tom, asked me to pick him out a few calves, and I'm partial to that Dip and Sal cow, and especially when it came out looking like this calf did on the ground. And I hand-picked this calf for Tom, so a little pressure, hoping that he'll buck like the last one did earlier.
And once again, this bull must beat a 3.29 to go into the lead, if indeed.
Calf's not going to go in the lead, not going to get it checked, Dave, but he's got a lot of heart and try, and, really tried to turn back, just kind of fell and couldn't keep his feet.
So unofficially, ladies and gentlemen, the 2014 yearling event, the incentive will be going to Treats from the Doctor, that son of Doctor Who, scoring 3.29 points. Big round of applause for Dick and Catherine Dial. And Jerry Hargis, Dick Dial really on a tear here, winning in Las Vegas at the Champions Tour finale with Candy Cartel as a 2-year-old, and winning with Shifty in $1 million Bull and Rider tournament, coming right back here and winning another 10 grand with Treats from the Doctor.
Yeah, it's great to see Dick having a good year right here. He's been a good customer.
Keep on going. And Jerry, what was your impression overall? Again, if we're looking at the scores here, we probably are right around that 2.5 mark, and the scores just keep on getting better and better year in and year out as the Janes Gang program and the breeding evolves.
Yeah, it keeps getting better, 2.5 for that last bull. But overall, I think this year is probably definitely better than last year. And we're only seeing just a handful of what's totally going to be out there competing for that $1 million total payout. And I think we're going to see a fantastic set of bulls. It's probably going to take 86, 87 just to get in the top 25 to even qualify for that.
Yeah, and as
you're
mentioning, Jerry Hargis, over the last few years, more and more trainers have been purchasing through their owners exclusive genetic bulls. So in addition to the bulls we saw in the Champions class today, there are a number of other bulls out there that we just haven't seen that are eligible for the 2014 $1 million Bucking Bull Championship, and a lot of yearlings for 2015.
That's right. And, we may not see any of them until the preliminary, so I guarantee it's going to be a stacked field when we get to that point.
So there's your scores. Treats from the Doctor winning $10,000. Kathy's Got a Dip. Mike and Kathy Simpson did not enter the incentive. Call Me Willie gets that second place piece of the pie, all alone at $6,000. Who's Your Daddy? Bruce and Donna Tesh finishing third, winning $4,000. That concludes this portion of the Bucking Bull TV broadcast. We'll be back at 3:30 3:30 Central Time for those watching on Buck and Bull TV. We're going to be bucking more bulls and selling them right in the arena here at the Jane's Gang annual Buck Day and Barbecue from Orchard, Texas. Until then, Jeff Bressler on behalf of my broadcast partner, Jerry Hargis, wishing you a good afternoon.